Okay, we're working on the plotting workshop. We were solving step 1 for the table of values of a quadratic function. So now we're gonna have to work with step 2. We're gonna use the values of the first table that we've finished, and those values are basically the points that we're gonna use in order to build our graph. So that will be step number 2, the graph of the function. So I'm gonna have to create a coordinate plane given that the values in this case that I got are -5, -8, -9, so those numbers are a little bit far away from the usual coordinate plane that we work with. We're gonna have to need a coordinate plane more like this one. Okay, that like this one you can see in here, that in this case I can include the -9 in here, the -8 for the letter y, and also I use some values a little bit more ahead on the x-axis. So what we're gonna do is that in this case we're gonna have to use these numbers to locate points on the coordinate plane. The first couple of numbers is -1 and -5, so I'm gonna have to look on the x on -1, and from -1 I'm gonna move vertically 5 positions under the line. So I'm gonna be in this place. Here is where we have -1 comma -5. So I'm gonna mark a little point in there. That's gonna be like the reference for the point -1 comma -5. The next number is 0 comma -8. So I'm gonna have to stay on 0 from the beginning, the center of the coordinate plane, and from there I'm gonna move vertically 8 positions down. Remember that the x tells me where to move horizontally, whether it's left or right. That will be the number for x. In this case it's 0, so I'm gonna stay there. I'm not gonna move left, neither I'm gonna move right. And for the number of the letter y, which is -8, letter y tells me whether I have to go up or down. If it's positive, I'm gonna move up. If it's negative, I'm gonna move down. So from 0, I'm gonna move vertically 8 positions. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so in there is gonna be the point 0 comma -8. Okay, so 0 comma -8 is gonna be marked in there. So I'm gonna mark a point in that position. Then the next one will be 1 comma -9. So horizontally I'm gonna move to the right 1 position, and I'm gonna move down 9 positions. So it's gonna be in here where I'm gonna have to mark the point for 1 comma -9. I'm gonna repeat the same process with the rest of the numbers. 2 comma -8. So I'm gonna look for number 2 on x, and from there I'm gonna move until -8, and I'm gonna mark a point in here. Okay, that will be 2 comma -8. And the last one, 3 comma -5. So I'm gonna move to 3, and from 3 I'm gonna move 5 positions down. Okay, horizontally 3 to the right, and vertically 5 down. In that place I'm gonna mark the point that's gonna be 3 comma -5. If you want to make the drawing a little bit like, if you want to know how it's gonna move after these points, like so that you kind of like don't screw it up, you could use some other values. You could substitute x with other values, like for example -2, and you could use the formula to find y. And also you could use, for example, in this case, x equals 4 in the formula to find extra values that are not in the table of values, but they could be useful so that you can mark some extra points if you want. Okay, I'm gonna do that with -2 and with +4. If I substitute in the formula, I get that if I use -2, I'm gonna get y equals 0. So I have an extra point that will be -2 comma 0. -2 comma 0 will be in this position. So I'm gonna mark it. I'm gonna mark it in red because it's kind of like an extra point. You don't have to mark it if you don't want to. Okay, this is kind of like to make the drawing a little bit easier. Okay, and then the other point is 4 comma 0. Where do I get these points from? By using the formula and substituting -2 and +4. In this case I get an answer of 0 in both of them. That doesn't happen all the time, but you can use other points to get you can use other numbers, sorry, to get extra points so that you can place them and you know exactly how to make your drawing. Okay, now what's gonna happen with the drawing with these points? If you notice, this is not a line, right? Because we have points that go in this direction, but we have points that move in another direction. The graph of a quadratic function is gonna be like a U shape. It's gonna be a curve with the shape of a U. So I'm gonna start drawing using these points as a reference, and I'm gonna draw a curve that has to look like a U. Once I draw it, it should look something like this. Okay, so this will be the graph of the quadratic function that I'm working on. That's the graph that you're gonna have to work with. So I'm gonna cut and paste this thing on the notebook that I have, technically, like on the page that I'm working on. So basically, if you're working on some grade paper outside from your notebook, you can cut it and paste it on your notebook. So that's what we're gonna do right now. And in a couple of seconds, we're basically gonna cut this thing and paste it there. Okay, so we cut and paste. It should look something like this. If you notice, you have to put arrows on the edges of the drawing. Okay, don't forget to always put the arrows on the edges of the drawing. You don't have to like make the drawing completely. You could interrupt it somewhere around here or somewhere around here, and you put the arrows in this place, and that's also okay. You don't have to like completely draw the whole thing. Okay, as long as we can see the curve in this part, that's enough, and you can put the arrows in here, and that will be it. That will be how you create the graph for a quadratic function.